reason it's attached is because you can talk to all the students that have lost their faith over the years because they've been indoctrinated into evolution in school, and they've walked away from their faith that they were raised in. So that's why I was asking that question. It's becoming, more and more common to.
I think it's a serious issue when you're raised in the faith to believe that the earth is 10,000 years old, and then you go off to college and you have all of these professors and textbooks and things that you learn that say, no, it's not that. The universe is really billions of years old. If you come to agree that, okay, yes, the universe is billions of years old, then that doesn't mean you have to abandon God, but you at least have to abandon what you would have described before as your faith in that regard. And so there is some problem there, but it doesn't have to be, well, okay, now God doesn't exist. It just means I was wrong on that issue.
Yeah, first of all, a law of science is something that is established, written, and codified because it is found to be inflexible. It is never, there's no exception to it. Therefore, laws of science become important. If the law of science says this cannot happen, I don't care what your theory is. You're up against a law. So if you can't explain evolution in harmony with the laws, then I think you have got a very serious problem. And when it comes to the theology of whether or not you can believe in God and evolution, you come back to an a priori position. Can you say you are a Christian and say the Bible is wrong? That Genesis is not true? There are many who will say, yes, my position is no. If you are a Christian, it is the Bible that is canon. Because once you turn around and say any part of it is not inspired by God, you have just destroyed the whole of it. And therefore, I would my personal opinion would be, if you're going to turn around and say you're a Christian and you can also believe in evolution, you're calling God a liar, and you're not walking on thin ice, you're walking on water. So I would disagree with the position that simply because there are some who call themselves Christian, who believe in evolution, that it is legitimate to do so. But that, of course, I have to put down to my own personal opinion.
Less than 10% are atheists, first of all, not people.
Non-religious, 10 to 15 that call themselves non-religious. Certainly fewer that are atheists.
40-something%, 45, 46, recent polls, like, the statistics still believe the earth is young, and they believe in, okay, so the bottom line, this nation is still very much founded on belief of the scriptures. I mean, we're waning because of, again, I would say this, I'll close with this, theistic evolution, that's an oxymoron, okay? Theistic means that God, He created the universe. Evolution means that this is a long process with this random time plus chance. My attitude would be to say this, and again, I'm trying to, in a delicate way, you're dead wrong twice. You're wrong in your theology, and you're wrong in your science. And second of all, the laws of science, you can't, that's a cop-out. The laws of science mitigates against evolution, and clearly the one, and I know that I love this, but the laws of thermodynamics clearly mitigates against evolution. All right, you have to assume some things there, and it just doesn't work. And it's interesting, I just get a kick of, well, I just find it interesting, you want to avoid those laws, and that's interesting. I'm glad to hear that response, I've never heard it before. You finally elucidated it.
Never.
Joe's going to elucidate in terms of the fact that the laws of science are relevant to this case. I'm sorry.
That was not my point at all.
But
my point was that her question was flawed.
Okay, well, the laws of science are relevant or not to the theory of evolution? That's the big question here.
Demonstrate one law of science that is incompatible with
laws of thermodynamics and law of biogenesis.
Wrong. We've gone over those before.
Oh, yeah.
Get the CDs from last debate. And maybe there's more discussion about that as well. Let me just say, and we've got a couple more questions. Hang on. Are you okay with that? Are you guys?
We'll be here for a while. I mean, I don't know whether it's more productive to do more of this or whether we'll be here answering questions one-on-one, but whatever you guys decide. I'll be here for a while.
If we just decide to sit down and talk, we can go on the floor.
let's do this.
You guys have a life.
Wait.
You guys have a life, right?
Let's do this, Richard. Let's do 2 more questions, and then you guys can mill around and talk till Colby is willing to stay here and lock the building. We'll do 2 more questions, and you can ask your questions out. Let me just say that Monday night, we have a group that meets here called Converge, and they're going to be dialoguing about this and discussing more. So if you'd like to come for part 3, there will be more of this Monday night here, and you guys are all welcome to come in and listen to that discussion as well. So let's do 2 more, and then if you guys want to mill around, you can mill around at least till, like, I don't know, 11 o'clock or something. I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
I just have a question about vestigial organs. I wanted to know, in the creationist standpoint, how could vestigial organs be accounted for? For instance, human wisdom teeth that are removed and not used any longer, the appendix, which is non-functional whatsoever, and the tailbone, which really is not used at all and would only be present if you had a tail previously.
First of all, and I imagine that Drew and Joe are aware of this, the appendix has a use. Matter of fact, if you look at, there's a couple books out, one of them is vestigial organs that's fully functional. You have to realize, back in Darwin's day, because of the belief of evolution, they believed that the human body had about 180 different vestigial organs, including the pituitary gland, the thymus, etc. And as we get to learn about something, we find out it has a purpose. We have found out, recent research, and I'll give you the information, that the appendix it's actually helpful for immune systems. And so the fact that an appendix goes bad doesn't imply it doesn't have a use. Okay, you have to realize, we have to accept the fact that we're in a fallen world, and this universe is the second law of thermodynamics is in effect. Things are winding down, and the sun's energy is burning up. The point is this. If you give me a chance, I'll give you the quote, but the appendix is a functional unit that has evidence to support that. It's more than one quote you can look at. Just go to the encyclopedia.
Can you move on to the other vestigial organs that I mentioned, please?
Which ones?
I said human wisdom teeth that are often removed, and also we can
Let me explain something. Vestigial organs doesn't have your cause, first of all. Vestigial organs, that even if it's the case, think about it. You're talking about something that doesn't have use anymore. That means it had a use, and that means it's going in the right direction. How does that help the evolutionary model?
It doesn't need to be taken out because it's no longer relevant. It's not hindering us. So why?
I guess I'm confused with the question. Vestigial organs do not help the evolutionary model. Vestigial organs are so-called.
They're
First
no
of all,
longer used because we don't need them. We don't need to chew things as we used to with our wisdom teeth. Therefore, our jaws are different sizes. Therefore, some people cannot even fit them in their mouths because it's scientifically not possible
Does
anymore.
that mean you're not human anymore?
I'm sorry?
Does that mean you're not human anymore?
No, but I don't need those.
So that comes into variation,
It
doesn't
means
it?
she's not an Australopithecine anymore.
Right?
Thank you.
What that means is you're talking about variation. You're not
But
talking
we're not
about
talking
a
about
you
variation.
can cut off somebody's arm, but a person can live very well. Are you saying that it's a vestigial organ? I mean, the appendix contributes to the immune system. The coxal bone, they say, well, we once had a tail. Well, if you don't think yours is useful, I know some people that will remove it, but if I were you, I wouldn't try and get up out of a
I
chair.
actually have an extra vertebrae, believe it or not. So how is that a variation? I said I actually have an extra vertebrae. So
Mutation.
if you're going to inference that, possibly that it was just a simple mutation, or it's just something that in my lineage hasn't been taken out yet.
No, what I'm saying is, okay, you've got variation, but the simple fact that you don't need something doesn't mean it's useless. The very fact that we used to use something and we don't anymore simply means we're changing, but it is not kind becoming new kind. As far as us having a common ancestor,
My point is that if it's enough change, couldn't you scientifically, even though that's your enemy, define it as something different?
no.
Wait, first of all, science is not our enemy. So again,
Well,
we hold science. So the bottom line is evolution is not science. It's not testable, observable with people. You cannot show a doctrine to a no
Neither is the
doctrine.
Bible.
Hang on. Yes, it can be. You want to debate it, we'll be glad to do a whole new topic. The point is science is testable, repeatable, and observable. True?